So many years ago, I was poor. I didn't have a lot of money. And I hung out with people who were also poor. And I noticed some stuff during these years and since then about things that poor people do. And when we're hanging out with each other as a group of poor people, when we're hanging out together, we did things, and I've seen other poor people do the same stuff, where we think it's totally normal. And we think, it makes perfect sense at the time. But really, if you look at this stuff, it's a total waste of money. And so these are some of the observations I've made during my time, basically being poor and watching other poor people. And these are the money mistakes we've made over years and basically how we waste money. So, number one, these people are poor, right? They don't have a lot of money. And then you got them doing things like this. Well, hey, let's go get drunk tonight. Hey, well, let's go to the bar and get drunk tonight. So I see a lot of poor people do this where they either go to the bar and get drunk or they just go and buy a bunch of alcohol at the grocery store and then go home and get drunk. They totally waste money on alcohol. Another one is smoking or vaping. So everybody knows smoking is bad for you and it's so expensive. But I see so many poor Americans, they smoke or they vape. I mean, at that point, you might as well just like burn your money. You might as well just smoke your money. That's another thing I see people wasting money on. Here's another one. I cannot believe how many poor people I know who have a ton of tattoos. Look, I just went and got another tattoo. It cost me $200. Wait, you don't have any money, but you just want to spend $200 on a tattoo? And then it's like they don't have just one tattoo, they have like 10 tattoos. Listen, if you're poor, don't waste your money on tattoos. Piercings, again, I see a lot of poor people who have all kinds of piercings. Their face is pierced, their ears have like 10 holes in them. I mean, it's like, okay, you don't have money. You're constantly complaining about how you don't have money, but then you have all these piercings that you just spent a ton of money on. Now here, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for the next one, but I'm going to say it because it's true. Pets. A lot of poor people have pets. Again, pets cost money. Like, first of all, you got to pay for the pet, right? Like, if you're buying a cat or a dog, you got to pay for the pet, unless you got it for free. But then you got pet food to pay for, and you got to take it to the vet. Costs money, like hundreds of dollars. Seriously, if you are poor, don't get pets. Getting their nails done. I see a lot of poor people who get their nails done. Again, that's like 40, $50. Expensive haircuts. Again, I see a lot of people who, they're like paycheck to paycheck, but they go get their hair cut and their hair colored and, they pay like $200 each time they do it. Especially a lot of women, they do this. They buy a ton of new clothes all the time. And then the women, so they're buying the clothes for themselves, but they're also buying it for their kids. But, they're buying a ton of new clothes all the time. Every week or every couple of weeks, they go shopping and they buy clothes. Again, total waste of money. Seriously, you don't need that many clothes all the time. And then another one I see poor people doing again, lottery tickets. Well, here's the thing. Chances are extremely slim. You're probably not going to win that lottery. But if these people who are poor, if they took that money that they're wasting on lottery tickets, wasting on getting their nails done, wasting on tattoos, wasting on smoking, wasting on going out and getting drunk, if they took all that money and invested it in a mutual fund, they would actually get rich over time. But that requires discipline and it requires patience. And a lot of people don't have that. Instead of wasting $200 a month on whatever, if you take that $200 and you invest it just in a very basic mutual fund, over time, we're talking like 10, 20, 30 years, okay? So you have to be disciplined and you have to be patient. But over time, that $200 that you're wasting on whatever you're wasting on, that $200 is going to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars in 20, 30 years. But these are just my thoughts, my opinion. Let me know what you guys think.